Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Dubbz TV broadcasting out of the backwoods studio. You may notice the settings a little bit different from my last video. So we've got some topics to discover and talk about today. We've got a lot going on across the entire planet. Um, let's the first thing I want to dig into is the instability um, in the UK. You can kind of see what's going on over there as like a test bed for what's coming to the US. And some of the other videos we're going to go over tonight are going to kind of show a similar trend going across the entire planet and see if you notice any commonalities. So we'll go ahead and cut to the first video and kind of share with you on this.
The Home Office has no idea how many asylum seekers have gone missing. The Home Office has no data on a third of people. We've got so many illegals that we're running out of hotels.
Over 14,000 lost illegals on the streets. £2.1 billion wasted on migrant hotels. A 23% surge in crime. Police cordons collapsed. And in just 3 hours, the leaked statistics exposing thousands of lost illegals turned entire districts into war zones. These crowds were not negotiable. They branded Starmer a traitor of the British nation. At 6:10 p.m, wave after wave demanded the scrapping of the Human Rights Act, the law that effectively bans the deportation of illegals. Under its cover, migrants claim in court that they have suddenly become gay or converted to Christianity, arguing they face death if returned home. It is impossible to verify, and they are ruthlessly exploiting it. Keir Starmer made his position sharply clear. Britain's laws are not up for repeal. I urge tolerance toward all communities. That statement became the death sentence for his career. At 6:24, a Stop the Boats faction began destroying a police van. Fresh units were immediately deployed to crush the rioters, but then hell on earth broke loose. At 6:41, fireworks were fired directly into police lines, painting the sky a blood-red colour. Debris cracked against helmets. The chanting stopped. All that remained was the sound of battle. The problem is that these lost illegals are totally invisible to the state. Thousands of machete wielders, sexual attackers, and drug traffickers had no names and no faces in police databases. Opposition leader Nigel Farage issued a scathing response. 14,000 is just the number the state wants us to believe. Analysts warn the real numbers could be 3 to 4 times higher.
So, what I'm seeing in this is they open their country to like 89 million migrants coming over. They have actually displaced the numbers of the folks that were born there. And this is kind of what we have going on. And so this is some very interesting news. So, we've seen that going on. Um, that was yesterday. So again, a few more days ago, um, we lost 3 of our military personnel over in Syria. And so let's just dig into that. we're seeing is a major destabilization in that region, and all that's fairly new developments. Whereas we thought we had some, peace treaties going on and trying to stabilize that region. So the next story I want to dig into is again more stuff going on over in Europe. This one, on the plus side, the investigators were able to actually stop this before it happened. So let's dig into this and share this with you.
And German authorities have arrested 5 men on suspicion of being involved in a plot to carry out a deadly vehicle attack at a Christmas market. The arrest took place on Friday in southern Bavaria. The suspects include an Egyptian national, 3 Moroccans, and a Syrian. Now, the authorities say that they had been planning to ram a vehicle into a crowded Christmas market in the region. And this comes after heightened security measures were put in place following car ramming attack at a Christmas market in the city of Magdeburg last year, which killed 6 people and injured more than 300. The Egyptian suspect was reportedly an imam at a mosque, and authorities say he called for the attack to be carried out with the aim of killing or injuring as many people as possible at the market. The 3 Moroccan suspects are said to have agreed to participate in the plot, while a Syrian man allegedly encouraged them to follow through with the plan. Now, all 5 suspects were brought before the magistrate on Saturday and remain in custody as the investigation continues. Joachim Herrmann, the Interior Minister of Bavaria, praised the cooperation between security services that helped prevent what could have been a devastating attack. Authorities have not disclosed.
So, round of applause. They had information that something was coming. They dug in. They took care of business. Now, here's the thing is that, like this in the news article, there was an attempt last year that was successful, but also in 2016, there's a Berlin truck attack. 2016, there's a bombing. 2010, Portland car bombing plot, and it goes on and on. And the thing that we see is that they're going after the Christian holidays. Um, so yeah, again, it's that season. I think we're going to start seeing a bigger ramp up of these types of attacks. And then here in the United States, we had the Brown University incident, and that's still a very fluid and changing development as more information is coming in. So let's take a peek at that.
Let's get more information on the victims now and go to Morgan Norwood, who's at Rhode Island Hospital with the latest there. Morgan, I understand you're getting new information.
We are. Good morning to you, Whit, and you're right. This is Rhode Island Hospital, the state's only level 1 trauma center, certainly equipped to handle these types of mass casualty incidents. This is the epicenter of that massive medical response, but for so many families, it is also the center of grief and heartbreak, but also hope as they gain some updates from officials just moments ago. Doctors, we know, are treating 8 victims, all students, 7 now in stable condition. 1 does remain in critical condition. The good news this morning is that no one's status was downgraded overnight, which should, of course, come as relief to loved ones who have gathered here bedside. Authorities say a 9th victim did show up to the hospital hours after that shooting with a bullet fragment injury, but was treated and immediately released. But there are the invisible injuries. Support services, mental health services, we know, have been activated, and the Nonviolence Institute is on site over at the university to support those impacted. The hospital says it continues to work not only with Brown University, but with law enforcement as they continue this investigation. Janae.
So again, this is still developing. Um, the information coming out was not very forthcoming. And as more information comes out, we're going to learn a lot more about what's going on. But listen to how they're describing things.
Again, my condolences and thoughts and prayers with the families that were impacted by these actions. So as the mayor stated, we have detained someone of interest, but I respect and to protect the integrity of the investigation, I would only be limited in my details. The next process for us is what we do best, and our detectives is to coordinate with the prosecutors, to collect evidence, to conduct interviews, and then from there, we'll be able to, when it's appropriate and accurate, to share more details with you all. But I'm pleased to say that the mayor stated the collaboration between our federal partners, our different municipalities in the state, is all hands on deck. And, you know, when there's incidents in the city that shock the conscience, we know for a fact that we just step up. And the federal agents, our federal partners, I want to thank them for their assistance, but as well, every single municipality, the state police, and every other chief in the state. We came together as a small state. It impacted a lot of us, the incident that occurred. And so, again, I'm just happy to share with you that we're in the process now of coordinating with prosecution, conducting interviews, and being able to collect evidence so that we can protect the integrity of the investigation and that we can hold the individuals accountable for their actions.
So again, he just said a lot of words without actually conveying anything. Right now, it looks like it's a 24-year-old American, Benjamin Erickson. There's reports he may have been in the military, and as time goes on, I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about what's going on, the motives behind it, and again, the intelligence used to identify him. I do know they use geolocating, tracing his cell phone to identify him. So, again, that's technology that they've used in a lot of these cases. So, you know, it's a good way to get information. Now, the next story I'm going to get into is very tragic. Uh, Today was this happened on the first day of Hanukkah in Australia at Bondi Beach. Very, very awful. As of right now, 16 dead, 29 injured. One of those was one of the shooters. We've come to find out it's a father and son team. And so let's just dig into that story a little bit. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Gunmen opened fire on Sydney's famous Bondi Beach, killing at least 11 people. One of the suspects also is dead. Another is in custody. NBC's Raf Sanchez is following the latest developments for us. Raf, what more can you tell us?
Well, Willie, Australian authorities are calling this a terrorist attack targeting the Jewish community as it was celebrating the first night of Hanukkah. Here's what we know. As you said, 2 gunmen opened fire with long guns. There are at least 11 people killed, including one of the shooters. The second gunman is in custody in critical condition, and authorities are now investigating whether a third individual was potentially involved. Now, amid the horror, there was also heroism. There is a video that is a little difficult to watch, but I want to show it to you in just a second here. You see, if we have that video, you see the man in white there running up and tackling that suspected gunman. There is a struggle, and you can see he appears to wrestle what looks like a shotgun out of that man's hands. Now, the individual in white has not at this point been identified, but local leaders are hailing what they say were extraordinary acts of personal courage by people who just jumped in at the scene. It is very likely that that man saved some lives by appearing to disarm that gunman. We know that at least 29 people were taken to hospital. Among them are 2 police officers. Authorities are saying police were on the scene and engaging in a gun battle with these shooters within just minutes. Police are also saying that they found a car linked to the killed gunman, which does appear to contain improvised explosive devices. Now, the bomb squad there in Sydney is probing that vehicle. They are looking for more clues. They are looking for more details about the motives. And, Willie, a massive police investigation is now underway. But we can already say at this point that this is one of the worst gun massacres in Australian history.
So I'm guessing doctors and lawyers? Probably not. This was another shot from a different angle, cell phone video, just so that you can get a better perspective on what was really going on. And imagine being at the scene of this. So you this doesn't look like somebody that wasn't practiced in this. He looks like that was a lot of training involved. And then the other video that they showed of I'm gonna call him the hero from down under. Here's a better shot of what we saw in that other news article.
Oh! C'est un malade. Oh non, gros! Oh! Ouais, mais il y a son pote, il va se faire tirer dessus. Il est trop con, le mec qui a l'arme.
So again, just a clear shot of what was going on. And my my warning to everybody is there's so much division in the United States. We have the left and the right. You know, you got the Charlie Kirk, and there's videos out there where you can see the hatred and division between those two sides, and then all the racial divisions, uh, the black and the white and the Hispanic and the Asian. At this point, I think if you're an American, be Team America. Doesn't matter what race you are, what color you are, what your political thinkings are. At this point, we need to come together. United we stand, divided we fall. And I heard something a couple days ago that just rang true to me. And what they said was migration without assimilation equals invasion. So think about that with all the people that we don't know their backgrounds coming into the country. And then also in Savannah, Georgia. Here's one that just kind of popped on my feed, and I'm gonna warn you, this one has some rough images, but I'd like you to hear about this one. Wasn't guns, it wasn't knives, it wasn't cars, but listen to this, and people, stay on your toes, keep an eye out, have situational awareness. But let me share this story with you.
Tonight, a Georgia woman suffering horrifying chemical burns after being attacked in a popular Savannah park. Photos from her hospital bed showing bandages around her entire head. We spoke to her son and best friend who've been by her bedside.
I don't know that I'll ever be able to unhear just the terror in her voice.
Police say the attack happened around 8 Wednesday night as Ashley Wasilewski walked through Forsyth Park after a church program.
She felt and could see in the shadow from one of the lamps in the park somebody very close to her, and she turned around and went to push him, and then just in that split second was like, why is he pouring water on me?
Within seconds, Wasilewski's clothing started disintegrating.
She looked down and she could see that her pants were burning off of her.
She was later flown to a burn center in Augusta, the FBI now working to identify that chemical that left her so badly scarred. Savannah's mayor posting this photo of what he calls a person of interest, asking the public to help identify him. Forsyth Park is an iconic tourist attraction.
Forsyth Park,
even featured in films like 1997's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Savannah police now stepping up patrols at parks across the city and saying that based on their initial investigation, the victim does not know her attacker.
We have no evidence that this is part of a larger pattern.
Meanwhile, Wasilewski's friends and family are focused on her mental and physical recovery.
Having someone sneak up behind you at random is going to follow her for a while. I mean, it's going to be hard to deal with, and there's going to be some traumatic response to it.
Aaron Gilchrist, NBC News, Augusta, Georgia.
So, again, this is a common tactic seen in the Middle East. They haven't found any suspect information in this particular story yet. And again, we need to all be looking out for each other and stop the hatred. Our people are better than that. Where is the love of a fellow citizen? I I can't stress enough, if we would stop all the internal bickering and fighting and hatred amongst Americans and come together, our people can be better. And that's the message I want to leave you with tonight is let's try to do better. We've got a new year starting, and again, just have love for your fellow Americans. We need to band together because what's happening in the entire world right now is all precursors for what's coming to the United States if we don't all band together. That's the show for today. Much love. God bless America. And we'll talk to you next time. Dubbz TV from the Backwoods Studio. Good night.